Obama has put fire on the mountain. She has opened the windows of hell for every single person not to be able to only clash and knock their teeth, but to be begging for, Abraham, please give me a drop of water. Michelle Obama said this, and hell was let loose. The white folks outraged. They were so angry. They were so furious. And they can't even help but come one on one to bring out the demons inside of them. My fellow black people, I want you to please watch this video. Watch this video from beginning to the end. Let me know reason why they're actually crying. They're actually making it look as if Michelle Obama just committed the highest sin, the worst sin in the whole wide world. I don't know. Probably I might be wrong. Probably I might not be saying things the way you guys actually want to see things right now. But please, the only person that is permitted to correct me if what she said is right or wrong are my fellow black community. For the white folks that are crying, I wish you guys cry more. Let's get right into this video. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. Let's get right into this video, and I'll be back with commentaries.
About it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting, and it's so expensive, and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't.
Michelle Obama has discovered another injustice: hair straighteners. She claims that black women have to straighten their hair because of white people.
Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped. Why do we need an act? An act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair.
Next week, Michelle will reveal how racism made her wear designer gowns.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Please let Michelle Obama know that we don't care how she chooses to wear her hair. Like, at all. At some point down the line, this lie was told to you, but we don't care. We want you to be authentic and comfortable. We want you to wear your hair any way you choose to wear your hair. I've never looked at a photo of somebody and said, wow, they should really wear their hair differently. It's never crossed my mind. I'm pretty sure it really doesn't cross anybody's mind, nor should that crossing somebody's mind affect how you choose to wear your hair. You're not forced to do it. Please, be you. Be comfortable. We have bigger fish to fry out here. We are out here having to coexist with people that believe they are full-on dogs and cats. They got tails and ears. They're in our schools. They bark at the kids as they walk by the locker rooms. This is a true story, by the way. We are having to fight to kick men out of our locker rooms. Like, we have bigger fish to fry. So, Miss Michelle Obama, please wear your hair any way you choose. I promise you, on behalf of all of us, we do not care. Please let Michelle Obama know that we don't care how she chooses to wear her hair.
I'm going to push back on this because while this person I stitched says they don't care how Michelle Obama wears her hair because recently she's been wearing braids and said she could never do that as First Lady, I remember Simone Biles a few years ago when she was wearing her hair straight. She had her hair straight with extensions in. And again, while she's flipping and twirling and doing feats that had never been done, there were plenty of people, too many people online, who found more reason to talk about how her hair looked messy and disheveled than whatever feat she had accomplished. That's example number one. Example number two, Michelle Obama wore shorts. Barack Obama wore a tan suit, and that was called out for being unpresidential. There are people that have referred to Michelle Obama as an ape in heels. So I believe anything that would have been too African, like certain kinds of braids and afro, would have just been more fodder for the racists on why she is unladylike, not representative of America, and not representative of First Lady. Again, I'm not saying this person I stitched felt that way, but there are plenty of other Americans who did feel that way. Number three is we have the Crown Act, which is still not passed in all 50 states of the United States. And the Crown Act protects Black people from not being discriminated against for their hair. Which this means, because the Crown Act was not passed in every state in our union, there are states that will discriminate a Black person because of their hair. And we are discriminated for wearing our natural hair. For afros, for braids, for dreadlocks, for baby hairs. Afrocentric hairstyles are still discriminated in half of the states of the union, whether y'all want to admit it or not. It is a reality. So, this person is kind of annoying me. Like there are times where I've talked to a white person that I think I can trust, and I will tell them something racist that happened to me, and they just look, they look so shocked and baffled that, like, they can't believe racism still exists. And I'm telling you, to this Black American woman, that does not bond me to you as a white person when you act like that. It actually annoys me. It annoys me that you as a white person can't believe people are still white supremacists, people are still racist, and people are still anti-Black. I don't like it when white people act like they thought it ended 40 years ago and, oh my God, I can't believe something racist happened. I'd much rather be like, wow, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. You're a great person and I'll fight with you. I much rather that response than you being like, oh, racism, what? That still happens? That's annoying. So it's very annoying for white people to act like, because it's not only this woman, Megyn Kelly's got some other things to worry about. But Megyn Kelly says the same thing, like, nobody cares about a Black woman's hair. You guys are lying. There's a lot of people that care about Black women's hair when it is in a natural or Afrocentric state. There are so many cases and examples of proof. I just gave 3. So, let's be real.
Nobody hates on white people more than Michelle Obama. Here's her latest, talking about hair.
Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally.
So she's suggesting here that only white people set beauty standards. I call some bullshit on that. And 2, white people are trapping Black people because they straighten their hair. The racism and the divisiveness coming out of her mouth never ceases to shock me. None of the Black people that I personally know feel trapped because of the way they decide to style their hair. So I am genuinely curious. Are there any Black people out there that are feeling trapped and oppressed because they straighten their hair or feel like they have to straighten their hair? Anyone? Just drop it in the comments. I'm curious.
You know, if I were a white woman, and thank God I'm not, but if I were one, I would hope that I knew that being a racist white woman, that choosing to be a racist white woman is in fact the stupidest thing that I could do. That is the stupidest thing that I could commit myself to. I would hope that I knew that. Not only are you setting yourself up for a commitment of forever keeping Black women's names in your mouth, you understand, unprovoked, But you're also signing up for a lifelong commitment of always comparing yourself to Black women because you, unfortunately, no longer have the luxury of minding your business. You're always in Black people's business. You always need to know what's going on. You need to know because how else could you continue to be obsessed with us? That's what racism is. That's what it looks like on you white women. And you choose to wear it. Why? Between Megyn Kelly and Lily Gaddis, I don't know which one of you are stupider. I don't know which one of them is stupider. But you know what? I did take the time to jot down a couple of words that I want to direct to Miss Kelly, specifically since she wanted to have Michelle Obama's name in her mouth, and we don't play them kind of games over here. To the white women who want to be better, who want to do better, let Megyn Kelly serve as the face of the delusional demographic of racist white women who refuse to accept reality. And instead, they feel more comfortable regurgitating BS and just praying that it sticks somewhere. Because for it to be 2025 and a white woman like Megyn Kelly nationally gets on air and is confident in believing that she is still able to be successful in gaslighting African American women in this country into believing the way that we have been treated as far as our hair and how it's kept is all just in our heads. It's just in our heads. And if anything, we're making it seem like we're special and we're the only people that go through it. The fact that she thought that she was able to do that in 2025 is pure delusion. It's pure delusion by definition. Because again, not only is it 2025, not only are Black people free, but we're educated, bitch. We're educated. We know our history. For you to really think that you could get on air and spew that BS, thinking that you were going to be successful into gaslighting us as if we don't have any idea of the laws that you white women put in place because you felt inferior to our hair. You felt intimidated. There were literal laws put into place because of your intimidation to us. And even with the laws, you still felt intimidated because you couldn't take our creativity. After centuries of her ancestors, you understand, and the descendants continuing, you understand, to make Black women, colored women, indigenous women feel less than, less desirable, less respectable because of the state of their hair, their natural hair. For them now, all of a sudden, to try to act like they didn't create that, I'm not surprised at all. They never like to take credit of anything that they actually do. And this shit goes all the way back to 1786, the Teigen laws. Literally, a set of laws in Spanish Louisiana that mandated women of color, particularly free Black women, to cover their hair in public because the white women felt intimidated. And guess what? Even after they had this law put into place, the Black women said, I bet I'm going to cover my hair with these scarves and I'm going to add on feathers and I'm going to put in embroidery and I'm going to have jewels on it. And they still couldn't take it. These white women couldn't take it. They couldn't hang because even if it wasn't our hair, you definitely couldn't be around our creativity. Go and look up unprofessional hairstyle examples and you're not going to see nothing but Black women, Black men. You're going to see afros. You're going to see locks. You're going to see braids. You're going to see everything that is associated with Black people. And it's not just Black people, indigenous people too. I literally watched a video on here of a Mexican girl who literally showed herself in the bathroom taking down her braids for her first day of law school because they were making her feel some type of way about it. The white people in that school were making her feel some type of way about it. And it was other Mexican women in the comment section encouraging her, telling her, no, never deny who you are. Keep your braids in, keep your ribbons in. This is our culture. This is what white people, white women did to women of color because you guys felt threatened. And even till this day, you still feel threatened. And then you hate it when we actually bring it up. So the fact that Michelle Obama actually mentioned it, it makes your skin boil because you guys have to remember the only reason why there was all of this hate against us and our hair and what we did with it is because you felt intimidated. You today, your ancestors yesterday, your children tomorrow.
Of white people are insufferable and obsessed with Black people. We have white woman's reaction, including Megyn Kelly, to Michelle Obama making very real claims about the policing and politics behind Black hair.
Let me explain something to white people.
Why are you always so obsessed with us? Girl, ain't nobody thinking about you. White people don't walk around all day long being like, oh, I wonder how we can take down black people today. Oh, I wonder how we can take down the people of color today.
Yes, white people absolutely are obsessed with black people. And yes, they do see how they can take down black people every day. That's why MAGA exists.
Bothers you. You know, Michelle, I feel like it really bothers you that women aren't focused on your fucking hair or the fact that it grows curly out of your head. You do also realize that white people have curly hair too, right? Like my hair is naturally very curly. Nobody cares. But it's like you want us to care about stupid shit. If you want to live your life with curly hair, live your life with curly hair, girl. Your hair's straight right now. Why is your hair not curly? Why aren't you living up to the standards that you want to push out there? And also, quit pulling white people into it.
Policing of black hair refers to the demonstration and disproportionate discipline that black people face for wearing their natural hair, whether it's afros, braids, or locks, in professional and academic settings. This is rooted in Eurocentric beauty standards, which we are just now maybe getting out of.
So it's a black woman who can't tell how to wear her hair. Can you tell the white women? How about the Asians? The Indian women? How about Indian women? They all just like white women do too. By the way, I burned my hair to the high heavens with those irons. Like, who is you fucking kidding? Everything is about poor boo fucking who Michelle Obama. When you get around the topic of race, it's nonstop.
No, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Practice has been occurring since we were slaves in this country. White people, in fact, care so much about how black people present themselves as a defiance against European standards. Whenever we found joy or bedazzled ourselves up in the way that we naturally would, there were laws put in place against it. The Tignon Law in Louisiana, for example, in 1786 was a law, literally a law written, stating that free black women could not wear their natural hair out because too many white women didn't like it because it was a distraction from the elaborate type of hairstyles that black hair could manage that white hair couldn't. So they made them wear headscarves. But you know what happened? Those headscarves became a statement of rebellion for black women, and as black people do, they made those headscarves so glamorous, so beautiful, so elaborate that white women started copying black people wearing the tignon on their head. Now, if white people did not care about black hair, if white people didn't care so much about black people, why is there a such thing called the Crown Act that was introduced in 2019 with over 26 states, now over half the states in the nation, have enacted the Crown Act to prevent discrimination against black people for their hair? Once again, black people have been discriminated legally by the law for existing in our natural state. Things like hot irons, relaxer, these things and techniques exist to make black women confined to Eurocentric beauty standards. What I hate more than anything is when a white person comes online and acts all holier than thou and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And that's usually most of you ignorant racists. And God knows I'm not listening to anybody that has one lip between both their lips tell me or tell a black woman what to do with their hair. You don't have curly hair. You don't have unmanageable hair. You don't have frizzy hair. And all the things you're saying are deflecting from the very real reality that black women face in current day. Black women face in my mother's generation and my grandmother's generation, especially in my great-grandmother and great-great-grandmother's generation. How dare you come online and have the gall to not listen to a black woman talk about her real experience being discriminated against for.
This is now the second or third time on this weird tour that Michelle Obama's on that she has bitched about not being able to wear her hair curly, saying that they can't swim or go to the gym due to white people hair standards. And at this point, I do have to say that I see beautiful black women rocking their natural curls all of the time in all sorts of environments, professional or otherwise. Babe, this sounds like a you problem. This to me is giving I desperately need to be a victim despite being the former first lady of this country. And so I'm going to say, wah, I can't have my hair curly, even though that's just not true. Miss Obama, respectfully, I think that you are okay. And if you want to wear your hair curly, you absolutely can do so. Nobody is forcing you to straighten your hair. There is no phantom racist boogeyman hiding in the closet. And the sooner you figure that out, the sooner you can live a much happier life. Because I do imagine pretending to be this oppressed when it's the year 2025 and you're not is exhausting and depressing probably. So work on that maybe.
So former First Lady Michelle Obama talking about the history behind natural hair, braids, and the pressure Black women have faced to conform to white beauty standards. But that somehow turned into a young Black woman on Threads declaring that none of that ever happened. So let's clear this up, because obviously the confidence is louder than the facts. Younger Black women really think straightening hair has always been some carefree personal choice. That's cute, but it's not true. Those who live through school dress codes, workplace policies, and just straight up discrimination know exactly why so many kept their hair pressed. It wasn't about chasing whiteness. It was about survival, stability, and staying employed. There were hospitals that wrote nurses up for afros. Corporate offices banned braids and locks under professionalism. Students were sent home because their natural hair violated policy. Applicants were told to come back when your hair is neat. And the problem is, it didn't stop. People are still being disciplined, still being denied opportunities, still being policed for the texture that grows out of their head. So this isn't ancient history. It's just invisible to folks who live in a bubble of privilege and assume their personal experience is the whole world. Former First Lady Obama wasn't saying Black women don't have agency. She was saying many didn't have the freedom younger women enjoy now. That's not an insult. That's lived history. And pretending acknowledging it somehow centers white beauty standards completely misses the point. Older Black women pushed until laws had to be written to protect our hair. They made it possible for twist outs, braids, and coils to show up at work without HR acting confused. So when a former First Lady speaks on that history, it's not nonsense, it's the truth. And erasing it doesn't empower anyone. It just erases the women who made today possible. So if we can't stand for each other, at least respect the path that got you here.
Michelle Obama is getting hated on by Black women right now. And it just goes to show, I don't know why Black women are just ready to fight, ready to be defensive at every given moment and ready to find a problem. I think it's beyond Black people and Black women. This is just a liberal problem as well. A liberal problem right now where everybody finds an issue with every little thing. Every little thing, and it's so exhausting. Everything she said here was factual. You wearing bone straight white hair and wigs is to appease a white beauty standard. Whoop-de-doo. I don't know why that is a shock. I don't know how Black women are present day still trying to argue that they do that simply because it looks good. We know you're trying to blend in and fit in. And it's not to, but this is the thing. Women can't handle criticism. So the minute you say that, because of the offense, they jump to defense. Rather than just admitting, yeah, look, Michelle Obama is actually being honest enough to say, look, I wear the bone straight hair because I had to fit in and you guys weren't ready for the curliness and the blackness. She was being honest. And it's crazy to me because a lot of you Black women, have you ever been in such a high position? Have you ever been? I can't judge as someone who advocates for natural hair and wearing your hair, in whatever way you want to wear it, but just wearing your hair, as someone who advocates for that, I can still respect the fact that I was not the ex-president's wife running the free world. Like, do you know, and the first Black president's wife at that in the US, do you know what she was up against? Like, just, this woman has no reason to lie, no reason to be disingenuous about this. She's a Black woman, an older Black woman at that. Her experience, she's being very honest. And Black women are so hell-bent on defending these wigs that they will lie to themselves and now to you to say, no, it's not that. Why would Michelle Obama, she has nothing to gain from saying it's a white beauty standard. Or it's been pushed because of Eurocentric beauty standards. What the like, this type of this stuff really irritates me. Like, even India really got on her, and I was just like, none of you have walked in her shoes as the first black president's wife to even chat her. Put some respect on her name. I feel like as black people we're so disrespectful, especially to the women who come before us and all the work they've done. You may not have agreed with everything in terms of Barack Obama and all of that, but you can put some respect on her name. Like, some of you just don't have parents. Some of you were not raised well, because this is so disrespectful. Like, it's just rude. It's so stupid to criticize her for saying something that is objectively true. Do you think if white people ever came in the picture and colonized us and did all that they did, we would be wearing bone straight hair? Or as the mainstream kind of conventional look? Do you think we would? No one's saying don't wear it. It's just appreciating the origins of it.
Hey, Michelle, it's Jill. One of those women that you say straightens their hair just to appeal to the white aesthetic. Have you ever thought that maybe it's just preference? I have 3 daughters, all of which have beautiful, curly, very, very curly hair. Some straighten it. Others don't. It's preference. It's not a racial divide. And when you are in a position of power, as you are in, and you use that position to further divide a people that should be united as Americans because of their hair texture, it's quite the stance, isn't it, Michelle? The difference between you and I is that I straighten my hair at home by myself with my own hairdryer and products. I don't have a whole glam squad doing it for me, dressing me, putting my makeup on, making my hair look perfect because of preference. Just thought that we should meet and that we should have this discussion. And anyone else that thinks this is ludicrous can chime in here too. Maybe it's time to stop complaining and start being grateful for the life you've been given.
Michelle Obama lashed out at white people, saying that she had to conform to white beauty standards. She even went on to say, you can't make this stuff up, she went on to say that this is why so many of us can't swim, because we're trying to keep our hair straight for white people. This is the weirdest take I've ever seen. I don't know any white people that are upset that black people have naturally curly hair. And I don't know if Michelle Obama's aware, but there's a lot of white people with naturally curly hair. My son has curly hair. We're not like, stay away from the water, it might kink up your hair, and that repulses us. What in the world?
Michelle Obama lashes out at white people. Folks, if you're white, earmuffs.
If you're white, it ain't right.
You ain't gonna like what she has to say.
So this is a news flash?
And she's... Anyways, she also talks about why she's not running for president. It's kind of your fault why she's not. But go ahead, Rob.
Talking about Becky with the good hair that Jay-Z was dealing with Beyonce back in the day.
Michelle Obama, I'm a victim and I'm complaining tour, and I am sick and tired. Have you heard one positive podcast, interview, whatever they're doing, TED? Everything. She's one of the most powerful, influential women in the world. Okay, and you're pressured by white people to iron your hair. My sister irons. Like, first of all, irons are for shirts and pants. Keep it off your damn hair, okay? And I'm just tired. Her net worth is $70 million. Okay, Martha's Vineyard mansion. She has Hawaii houses, $50 million Netflix deals. She flies on private jets. But America's this racist. You don't have to do nothing. Go Colin Kaepernick. Nobody gives a damn about your hair. You made it. You're the first lady. And just complaining. And in fact, her on top of Barack going around and complaining and scaring and fear-porning everybody and telling minorities, you have to vote for the minority because that's how we roll.
Here's her talking about why she's not running for president. Go ahead, Rob.
And you say it's very unattractive. It's unattractive to me. It's unattractive. This to me is so unattractive. But it's great. I'm glad she's saying it out loud, because for years they've been tap dancing around whether Michelle Obama is going to run. You know, I've been saying there's no indication of it. Stop saying it. We've had our issues with this.
Yeah, whatever.
She has no interest in running, nor will she be a viable candidate, because at one point the Obamas were at least attempting to be a synergist and a unifier. I'm so glad that she's revealing what she stands for. And I totally respect that she's kind of like advocating for her tribe. We're all part of the American tribe, but then we have our sub-tribes. Whether you're black, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Assyrian, whether you're part of the LGBT, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, America comes first. And if you're actively trying to basically start a issue between blacks and whites, which we were doing so much better.
Oh, God.
Before Obama, and even some may say Trump has been divisive, but I think the Obamas have actually been more divisive than Trump on this racial issue.
No, I agree with you 100%. She's richer than 99.99% of Americans that are black, white, tall, short, and you're going to lecture us about the systemic oppression and all that nonsense. And you know what? I don't want her as the president. Could you imagine her in the Situation Room? We have to launch a nuke, and they're like, "Where's Michelle?" They're like, "She's ironing her hair."
She's ironing her
for
hair.
white
That's
people.
true.
Sorry, we're gonna die. No, it's just that.
Is there anything that Michelle Obama won't complain about? What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you. Recently, the First Lady of Complaining, Michelle Obama, was being interviewed by Tracy Ellis Ross, and in the interview, she blames white people for why she can't swim. Here is what she said.
Something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head.
I think she knows that white children can be born with curly hair and that they have to learn to manage their natural hair in order to participate in childhood activities such as swimming and going to the gym. And I don't think that it's the white beauty standards that kept her from learning to swim. I think it's the generational trauma passed on from likely her mother and her grandmother that told her to stay out of the water due to the fact that she doesn't want to get her hair messed up. That's fine. If you spend a lot of time fixing your hair and you don't want to go in the water and get it wet, that's fine. But to blame white people for why you can't swim, that's a new one.
I don't know much about beauty tips, but I certainly know where division started within our country. This is an actual statement of former First Lady Michelle, or some may call Mike Obama.
Worry about it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim. And we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't.
Good morning. I hope you got your coffee because we're about to have a conversation. So I have a book recommendation, The Science of Black Hair, that I do hope you read after this conversation. So Coco Chanel 5 decided to go on Threads and say, "Dear Michelle Obama." She messed up right there. Newsflash, black women do not straighten their hair because of white people's beauty standards. As a curly natural myself, most black women straighten their hair because they choose to and it's easier to manage for them. Let's drop the narrative that we do anything for the white beauty standard. Black women are the true beauty standard. Why get on stage and say that nonsense? To make matters worse, India Ari has entered the chat because she was tagged multiple times in this conversation for good reason. But the young lady said she had to Google who India Ari was in a conversation about hair, black hair discrimination, and white beauty standards, and she had to Google who India Ari was. That wasn't solely the issue, but the fact that she continued to go down a rabbit hole about being loud and wrong about this conversation after multiple people have tried to educate her about how she was wrong just did it in for me. And then she decided to say she's a curl specialist.
How are you a curl specialist and not know the history of black hair in this country and who India Arie was? Just Jesus. It becomes a problem when you get to live in the benefit of people's struggle and fight and be dismissive about the work that they did to get you to this point. At a time where Black American history is being banned across this country, you have access to Google to not only search who India Arie was, but to actually learn about why hair beauty standards are white in this country and what Black people have had to fight for in order to not be discriminated against to wear their hair the way that it grows out of their scalp in any form they choose. Not knowing that it was illegal for Black women to wear our hair the way that it grows out of our scalp and had to cover it up because of Teon laws in Louisiana in 1789, claiming that you're a curl specialist should be a crime. Not knowing that the Crown Act of 2022 passed the House and failed in the Senate because people did not care enough about the hair discrimination that Black people face for wearing the hair that grows out of their scalp the way that they choose, should also be a crime. It gets to a point where you have to ask yourself, are people actually teachable and willing to learn, or do they want to be loud and wrong about actual history before making comments? This young lady is still going, and she is trending with India Arie and Michelle Obama because of her ignorance about Black hair and claiming to be a curl specialist, girl. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. You are living in the results of the work of your ancestors. This didn't just come out of thin air. People worked hard to make sure that you have the possibilities that you have now. You get to walk into wherever you go with your hair however you want to, because someone actually fought to be able to do that for you. The same can be said about any other practice for Black Americans in this country. You get to be free because of someone else's fight. Let that sink in. And stop being loud and wrong when people offer you correction. Take that shit in on the chin and learn something.
One of the things that will forever be fascinating to me is that when Black people come together and talk about the collective experiences that they have had in this country, there are always, first of all, white folks who are like, that didn't happen. Or second of all, white folks who are like, well, what about us curly-haired white ladies? But then third of all, the reality is that it's not just individual acts of racism, because here's the reality, is that what Michelle Obama is doing here is what I like to call naming the normative, meaning that in this country, there are systems and structures that are created in ways that are prejudiced against and excluding of Black people. And those systems and structures are lived out in such a way that they have become the norm of our society. And so when someone names something as racist or prejudice, the systems and structures that are racist have become so normal to us that white folks can go, well, that's not racist. That's just the way things are. Now, the reality that Michelle Obama is talking about is not only that there are individual acts of discrimination and prejudice based on people's hair, but that there is a systemic way in which people do not get promotions because they are not seen as professional, and professionalism is defined as white beauty standards, or ways in which people have been fired from jobs or suspended from schools or kicked out of programs because their hair does not meet a normative standard, which is just a white beauty standard. This is why the Crown Act was even introduced in 2022 with the simple thought process of banning discrimination based on hair. And that bill made it out of the House but didn't make it through the Senate, and you can look up for yourself why that happened. Ultimately, there are racist systems in this country that when we name them, we're the ones labeled as bigoted against white folks somehow.
She's so bigoted against white people.
She's so out of her mind. Like,
when the reality of the overarching lived experience of Black folks is the ways in which these individual systemic acts of racism hinder our ability to forwardly progress. But these systems and structures run so deep that even the First Lady of these United States can talk about her lived experience with that racism. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Michelle Obama will not stop whining.
Do you think that that impacts the room that we've made for a woman to be president?
Well, as we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time. You know, we got a lot of growing up to do.
She's telling us how she really feels. She's not proud of this country. Again, we're not ready for a girl boss. The closest we got to a girl boss was her husband. But she had Barry give the brothers the talk, and they didn't listen. So Michelle just put the country in timeout until you grow up. If we're not ready for Michelle, we're definitely not ready for Kamala. She went back on the road, and this time she upgraded tampon.
Let me be very clear. It's nice to finally meet me. I need you to know, right? This is all for you.
You bring people so much joy, knowing clear-eyed what we're up against, but giving people a way to laugh at themselves and each other and me.
Yeah.
It's sad to say, but what she just said out her mouth is the truth.
As we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time. You know, we got a lot of growing up to do. And there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it.
Hillary Clinton, America wasn't ready. Kamala Harris, America wasn't ready. Just my honest opinion, I don't think America's ever going to be ready. Because pretty much what she just said out her mouth, a lot of men don't want to be led by a woman. Now, me personally, I don't see anything wrong with a woman president. Whoever has America's best interests, man or woman, should be president. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on this situation. Do you believe there will ever be a woman president? There's been 47 presidents and they have all been men. Will history continue to keep repeating itself, or will the system break?
Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it.
Well, that's awful big of you, Michelle, Michael, coming from somebody who has bald. I don't know what happened. My camera stopped there. We don't care. I'm going to make this very clear. We don't care. We don't care. Nobody cares how you wear your hair. I promise we don't care. There are no set beauty standards. I don't know where this whole thing of like the white beauty standard, there are no set beauty standards because there are beautiful people everywhere from all backgrounds, of all kinds, of all colors, of all styles. Beauty is universal. There is no standard. I've never, ever, in my 40 years of living, looked at somebody and said, you can't wear your hair like that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't have your hair like that. Don't get in the pool because your hair will be curly. Stop. Just stop. Can you imagine if the First Lady, Melania, went on a podcast or some kind of show like that and said those kind of things in reverse? Can you imagine? That's racism. Let's call it what it is.
Michelle Obama said it so eloquently. If we struggle to make it look like the standards, we're then basically going to be spending thousands of dollars and hours of time spent. And literally when I heard that, I had to pause because damn, she is so right. Because think about it. How many of us have been using protective hairstyles as more than just protecting our hair? If you haven't seen it, Michelle Obama had an interview recently with People magazine, and one thing she mentioned was talking about her hair, and she said basically like she didn't wear braids because she essentially didn't think like the country was ready for it. In other words, she essentially was like she didn't want her hair to be a distraction, which is crazy to think, but so true. It's crazy to think the First Lady of the United States, one of the most educated and influential women in the world, still had to think twice about how her hair would be perceived. That's essentially the world we live in, where our natural beauty as Black women has to be managed. Our curls have to be controlled, I guess you could say. And it's crazy, but our style, if you will, have to be approved before they can be accepted. But the truth is, our hair is not actually the problem. It's the pressure that society has placed on it. And as a girly who wore protective styles most of her life until like 6 months ago, protective styles were not just for protecting our hair. It was also about protecting our energy, our time, our peace. Braids, twists, locks, you name it. That's care, that's culture, that's creativity that a lot of other cultures do try to steal, I might add. So when we actually do show up the way that we like our hair to be, whatever look that might be for you, it's not rebellion. It's literally a feeling of being free. It's the freedom of fitting in, because we know what comes sometimes with how our hair is perceived. So depending on how confident we are as women in certain situations determines if we care or not to fit in. Protecting your peace is far more important than fitting in. And truthfully, that is the real definition of protective style.
We ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time.
That's right.
You know, we got a lot of growing up to do. And there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it. What was the question?
I gotta agree with Michelle Obama. There's a lot of uneducated men in this country who feel like a woman cannot lead. And men been doing it for decades. And guess where you still are? Struggling and doing fucking nothing. At some point, you have to say, oh, well, let's give a woman a try and see will things get better. How the fuck would you know it will get better if you motherfuckers never fucking try it? Your mother raised your ass. She did a good job. Some of you went on to be fucking successful, but you don't want to fucking trust a fucking woman. Men have been fucking this country over for fucking decades. At some point, the light need to come on, and you need to vote for a different fucking direction and a different leader. Wake up.
What exactly would you call this? I think I know, and it starts with the letter R. But here's the former First Lady, who has lived a privileged life, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, who has no worries on the planet, except, I guess, for the skin tone of those that she's talking to. You got to see this.
Worry about it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern.
Really?
So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards,
Really?
we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim. And we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all.
For us?
It is exhausting, and it's so expensive, and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work.
It's for us.
So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't. It just...
A, not funny. B, extremely R-word-ist. C, living a life of privilege, I guess, is not enough for Michelle Obama. There are no laws just for white people. Nobody wants to touch your hair. We all understand that our hair comes out of our head in different forms and fashions and coarseness. None of what she just said is even close to being worthy of being on a stage like she's in front of a big crowd and they're all laughing at it. It's actually ridiculous, and it's kind of sad. What do you think about that? I mean, clearly, this is somebody who's unhinged, right? Come on!
Anyways, welcome back and thank you so much for watching. And like I said, please, for my black folks, if you think that what she said is actually not correct, is wrong, let me know. Because I honestly do not know why these people are crying. I honestly do not know. They were crying. A lot of them just took to their... In fact, I didn't even get most of them. I didn't get their videos to attach it here because at some point I keep asking myself, like, it simply means this woman is actually your superior. Yeah, that's why you're crying on her issue. See her saying it elegantly, without misinterpreting words, saying it with confidence, with her full chest, saying it without a fear of favor. And the only thing that you guys can do, and I feel like a lot of people are missing this concept. Let me know as well if you think maybe I'm missing it on my own end, right? But I feel like a lot of people are missing this concept of what she actually meant. Now, she is not saying that white folks are not allowing us to carry our braids. She is trying to say that there are some system that you need to fit in as long as you are in America. Because with what I understand, American is already built on racism and every other stuff. So she, during her own time, not like she really love to carry her straight hair, but because of the system, she never said that white person came to her and they told her that, oh, go and remove your braids or go and make... Because of the system, because she needs to fit into the system, because she needs to get accepted, because she needs to serve as a role model, because she is leading. That is the condition that has conditioned her to say that. And now, I've done some research as well, and including if you watch this particular clip from beginning to the end, there's a particular lady that also talked about, especially in an office environment or in a place of work, there are some places of work that you will go to that she said they are going to literally tell you face to face that you cannot carry braids as a black person. You cannot carry afro. They see afro as something that is dirty. They see the unique hair that we have, the unique texture, as something that they feel like it is not professional enough. And for you to be able to do that, you have to go, because you need this job, you need to stay on this job. You have to bend to this particular system. You have to do what you feel like you need to do for survival. So that is the part where Michelle Obama is coming from. But a lot of people are freaking out. They are screaming their lungs out. They are making it look like she has said the worst thing in the whole wide world. And of which I do not literally see it that way. Maybe I am wrong, I don't know. But correct me in the comment section if you think I'm wrong. There are some schools, if you do your research very well online, you're still going to see it. Then, I don't know if they're still doing it now, where any child carrying afro can literally be driven out of the school, tagging that child as a dirty child. There are a lot of things that people have literally have to bend just because they want to fit into the white community. Not because they are scared, not because white people ask them to do it, not because even if they don't do it, white people are gonna do something to them, but because they don't want to create chaos. They are peaceful people. They just want to adhere to the rules and just move with it. Because look at someone like Michelle Obama. Does she look like someone that is going to be scared of white folks? Does she look like someone that will come and sugarcoat words for you and tell you that, oh, white person... If a white person literally walked up to her to tell her that, she would have addressed it instantly, and then we would have also been able to hear of this. But she is saying is, and this is what I understood, the system, you have to, even if you don't want to, even if you're not being forced to, because you want to stay in the system. Her husband was once a president. And you know what it means for you to be a first lady, not because she wants to make sure everything regarding the black community is okay, but as a first lady, she will also want to make sure that some white people see her enough to come close to her. So if they don't see her blackness, they are going to see her hair. That is simply what this woman, for me, I understood that a lot of hell is being let loose by these white folks. A lot of them are crying. They are crying when they are not being beaten. But anyways, let me know what you think. I stand a chance to be corrected. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do it, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, let's say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. So for now, bye guys, and take good care of yourself. I love you guys. Mwah.